Dr. Faustus is a play dramatising the 24 years of a man who sells his soul to the devil. It was written by Christopher Marlowe in 1588, at a time where culture was awakening and religion was thriving. In this short film, we will explore the context of this play and its effect on a 16th century audience.
So, Elizabethan viewer, what has Dr. Faustus taught you?
What has Dr. Faustus taught me? Well, it's shown that, anyone can take over the world. One minute they want to know everything, and the next minute they have to have the whole world, It's never enough, and I think Dr. Faustus certainly reflects that. And I think it shows that we need to stop these crazy people.
And what does Dr. Faustus have to say about religion?
Well, it clearly shows the goodness of God, which many of us already know to appreciate, with Protestantism, which makes many of us feel closer to God. This piety tells us to not go against that. It also spits in the face of Catholicism, our opposition, which I like. The Pope's scene demonstrates this. Any viewer understands that Faustus should follow the path of the good angel. Luckily, his disobedience lands him in hell.
And what are your thoughts on demons?
Well, they should certainly be feared. The play shows the consequences of them. If we stay close to God, we can avoid them.
So, why'd you do it? Why'd you sell your soul?
What? Wouldn't you?
Given the choice, probably not.
I suppose it was a kind of last resort kind of thing.
A last resort of what?
Well, have you ever felt that the fire in your life has burned out, like your story jumped the shark 20 years ago and you've been on a steady decline downward since? Because at that point, the only way to go is up, so why not just go the extra mile, end it on a high?
Yes, but in doing so you damned yourself. What might have been a good time was merely ephemeral, and now here you are, on a 5-minute break from eternal suffering.
It's not as bad as it seems. Whether you're suffering or surfeiting, it's not like heaven could be much better. Pain and pleasure both lose their power when they're all unite.
So, were you a doctor of psychology or something?
I'm a doctor of physics.
I see, so what was that thing with Helen of Troy about?
We do strange things when the pressure's on.
The jury's still out on whether that was legal.
I'm already in prison. What more can they do about it?
I take it they can't make that punishment worse.
It's about as bad as it gets, really, but it's not too bad.
So what about Mephistopheles? What was he really like?
Sweet Mephistopheles. He was charming, yet manipulative, as if he was luring me into a false sense of security.
You knew him for 24 years. How did you never pin that down?
It was like being stabbed in the back by a very close friend. Mephistopheles always did what I asked him to do. Even when I first saw him, I saw his true form, absolutely horrible. Told him to change shape. He did exactly as I said. No deal was signed. He gave me a chariot pulled by dragons. He helped me mess with the Pope. Hell, this one time we even just messed with this random horse course, and that was hilarious. Gave him a horrible time. But he had ulterior motives. I was too blind with power to see that. Big mistake.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
You're goddamn right.
So, your thoughts on the faith?
Stupid. Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, hate it all. I'm a humanist. They're obsessed with their masters and their rules and their laws and their suffering, their heavens and hells. What use is there?
Are you not a Satanist? You clearly have a deity that guides your faith. And what are all those books about?
Get in the bin.
The 16th century was a time of great religious panic due to the recent reformation of the Catholic Church into the Church of England. The Western world was governed by the religious monopoly of the Catholic Church throughout the Middle Ages and subsequent Renaissance, with fear-mongering practices and money-grabbing schemes being prevalent, especially through the rule of corrupt popes, such as the nepotistic Rodrigo Borgia. The Protestant Reformation curated a new view on the Catholic Church, particularly in England, that of a corrupt and immoral hierarchy. Marlowe's play reflects the controversies of the Church in this era, such as the proverbial satanic panic and the lampooning of the Pope. The play explores the consequence and weight of rejecting religious beliefs, while also demonstrating the fragility of the Church at the time. Faustus selling his own soul is indicative of the progression of the public, who is slowly becoming more independent in their faiths, with the monopoly of Catholicism having been removed. Faustus' turning to magic and necromancy is a reaction to the fear and condemnation of supernatural practices, and the satanic imagery was used to garner a response from an Elizabethan audience, who would have been told to fear the wrath of hell and sin all their lives. With such strong contextual and religious undertones, actions had to be taken to avoid controversy, and the topic of religion was banned from the Elizabethan theatre soon after Dr. Faustus was released to the public. It was the last play of its time to deal with such matters. On the 26th of February 1564, in Canterbury, a baby was born, who would become a poet and a playwright at the forefront of 16th century dramatic renaissance. And no, this isn't Shakespeare. The baby's name was Christopher Marlowe. While Marlowe's literary career lasted less than 6 years, and his life only 29 years, his achievements, most notably Dr. Faustus, ensured his lasting legacy. Marlowe earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1584 at Cambridge, but in 1587 the university hesitated in granting him his master's degree. Its doubts, perhaps arising from his frequent absences, were set to rest, or at least dismissed, when the Privy Council sent a letter declaring that he was now working on matters touching the benefit of his country, and he was awarded his master's degree on schedule. Therefore, essentially he was a spy, although there isn't enough evidence to prove this. Marlowe wrote many plays: Edward II, The Jew of Malta, and Dr. Faustus. All his work swells with religious conflict, which followed up with him on Sunday, May 20th, 1593, when he was arrested for the crime. Atheism or heresy was a serious offence, for which the penalty was burning at the stake. On May 30th, however, Marlowe was killed by Ingram Fraser. Allegedly, after spending the day together with Marlowe in a lodging house, a fight broke out between Marlowe and Fraser over the bill, and Marlowe was stabbed in the forehead and killed.
So, Mr. Marlowe, would you say that Dr. Faustus is your favourite of your many pieces of art?
Art. I guess you could call them all some sort of perfection, but not art, no.
Okay, but is Dr. Faustus your favourite?
I mean, Dr. Faustus is pretty exciting. It's pretty good. There's devils and deals and fate and male genitalia, but no, I would not call it my favourite.
I would personally disagree. I think Dr. Faustus is very good.
I mean, Tamburlaine truly was my best work. Nothing comes close to its level of drama and epic.
Would you say that Dr. Faustus reflects your own religious views?
Well, I'm not too sure if I would make a pact with Mephistopheles. But apparently, I cursed and blasphemed to my last breath, so it strikes somewhere in the middle. I value myself as a Renaissance man, a humanist, you might say, but I wouldn't say a Satanist.
And would you describe Dr. Faustus as a morality play or a tragedy?
Well, it's hardly a tragedy. You don't support Faustus on his way towards damnation. So you could call it a morality play, but at the same time, it has the basic structure of a tragedy. There's a good guy, he makes a mistake, and then it's his downfall. But it's more along the lines of a morality play. I prefer the term morale tragedy.
And a final question before I forget. We have to know, are you actually an anti-Catholic spy?
They found me.
Dr. Faustus parallels the culture of Elizabethan England. Its religious themes go hand in hand with views post-Reformation.